you are a babysitter, or maybe you just babysit here and there, you might not want to listen to this story. And if you're still here, don't say I didn't warn you. So there's this girl who babysits pretty much a lot of the kids in her neighborhood, and she's so good with the kids, so much so that one of the moms recommended her to one of her friends that lives outside of the neighborhood. She ends up telling her friend like, oh, she's so trustworthy, she does really good with my kids, and gives her the girl's information. Of course, the mom calls the girl and the girl's like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll babysit your daughter. So the day comes where she's gonna babysit the little girl. She goes to the house and she starts telling us that the house is gorgeous. It's 2-story, there's a garden, it's beautiful. And when she walks in, she introduces herself to the mom and dad. And the mom and dad talk and they're like, okay, well, she seems trustworthy, so we're gonna go ahead and hire her. And they introduce her to the little girl, and the little girl is around 5 or 6 years old. So they walk the babysitter around, they show her where the rooms are, where the restroom is, the TV. They tell her like what time the kid needs to go to sleep and if she can like bathe her before bed. She agrees to everything, there was no problems, and then she was left alone with the little girl. So the babysitter said that there was nothing weird or strange about that little girl other than the fact that she was carrying this like life-size doll with her everywhere. She said that the doll wasn't even ugly or like scary or anything like that, but it was like just as big as her, and that little girl kept referring to that doll as her best friend. And she only thought it was weird because obviously little kids play with toys and dolls, whatever. The reason why she thought it was weird is because the little girl would want to play games with the babysitter and she would stop and be like, oh, my best friend wants to play too. Like, okay, the way she would say it, I guess, was the weird part, but she would always include the doll. It didn't matter if the babysitter wanted to do something else. She'd be like, okay, my best friend wants to play too. She said that afterwards, they were like, okay, let's draw. And she was drawing and she noticed how that little girl, she would draw. And after she was done, she would give that crayon or pencil to her best friend, the doll, and she would grab the doll's hand and draw for her. And at that moment she was like, okay, well, maybe this little girl doesn't have a lot of friends, maybe she's still in that stage where she has imaginary friends. So after a while it comes time to where she needs to go take a bath and go to sleep. So she bathes the little girl, and once they're done, the little girl's like, oh, I'm not sleepy though, can we play a game? Can we play hide and go seek? Why is it always hide and go seek? Hell no, get your ass to bed right now. But the babysitter tells her, no, like it's too late and your parents gave me a specific time for you to go to sleep. And the little girl was like, no, please, let's play hide and go seek. And the babysitter's like, okay, let's play hide and go seek for a little bit, and once we're done, you're going to bed. So the little girl's like, okay, let's play, but can my doll play too? You know, her best friend. And that's when the babysitter was like, no, how can she play? She can't move. Like, what about me and you play and we'll leave the doll in this chair? And that chair was in the hallway, the one that like goes to all the bedrooms. So they left her in the hallway on that chair and she was like, let's play me and you. So they start the game and the little girl had a count and she's like, I'm gonna hide somewhere where she can find me easily because I want this game to end so that she can go to bed. So the little girl counts, she hides, and then once she's done, she finds her easily. And now the little girl's like, okay, now it's your turn to count and I'm going to hide. So she goes to the living room, puts her head down on the coffee table and starts a count, and she can hear that little girl running up the stairs to the second floor. So when she's done counting, she's like, well, I know she went up the stairs, so she's probably hiding in the room. So as she's walking up the stairs, she's like, I'm coming, I'm gonna find you. She starts saying it because obviously she knows that the little girl's up there. So she says that she wasn't really thinking about anything other than, well, I'm gonna find the girl because I know she came up here. So as she's going slowly towards the bedroom, she can see that the little girl went under the bed. So now since she knows that the little girl went under the bed, she starts playing around a little bit. She's like, I know where you are, I'm gonna find you, you can't hide from me. She walks around the bed because she knows that the little girl can see her feet, and she picks up the blanket and says, found you. And under the bed was the doll, not the little girl. I don't have goosebumps right now. She said that in that moment, because she stayed there for like, a little minute, like what the fuck, she hears steps behind her, turns around, and it's the little girl. I'm not kidding, I have goosebumps right now. So at that point, babysitter's scared and she tells the little girl, where did you go? And the little girl's like, well, I stayed downstairs and I went to go hide. And she was like, what do you mean you hid down there? Why is your doll up here under the bed? And that little girl was like, oh, she always does that. She always does that. Could have told me from the beginning. She always does that. I mean, the fact that when she was counting, she heard those footsteps go. The doll was a life-size doll. I'm never babysitting in my life again.